Hello and welcome. Today is September 10th, and it is our average first frost date. We are, however, expecting to get a high of 27 degrees and a low of 10 degrees tonight, so we are not expecting frost. If that holds off as long as possible, I'll be very happy. So I'm going to let you join me on my morning rounds and see how the garden is doing. Here we have our chocolate cherries, and we had harvested a bunch fairly early on for when they did start ripening, and then they just kind of stopped. But I've topped the cherries. Hello, Sindel. He's peeking. Oh, who are you? It's one of the kittens. So I've topped them. That should trigger them to ripen, but so far I'm only seeing a few. But that's okay. And then around, oh, look at that. I don't know who you are. Hello, Sindel. You lost your collar. Where's your collar? Oh, no, you have your collar. Good. Okay, this is the one that I found while I was planting the potatoes, and it is doing really well health-wise, but just starting to bloom and develop cherry tomatoes. So I don't expect a whole lot out of it. And then the potatoes over here have all been harvested. I've still got this net here because the deer were eating things over here. Are you pooping in my... so these are going to seed, which I am happy with. I want to get these lettuce seeds. My kohlrabi, hang on a second, is being continually attacked by kittens. They like to lie on here and sleep on them. And obviously they like to use this as a litter box. But I don't see anything developing on them yet, so I don't know if we'll get anything from these. And then the last two potatoes on this side I've still left. We'll get those done in a bit. The asparagus and strawberry bed, I had stuff around here, but I needed the posts for something else, the stakes. And the strawberries are still there. I don't even water this bed anymore. Oh, would you look at that? There's a strawberry that's blooming. The strawberry on this side doesn't seem to have recovered. But yeah, that's this. And then we have the sunchokes, which are looking absolutely amazing. Hey, get out of there! Stop that! Okay, not being used as a litter box right now. Yeah, so they're looking really nice. And when these get all dried up and stuff, we can harvest the sunchoke and see what we have. I keep forgetting about these to make recordings, but here we have our green zucchini, which amazingly we finally have some zucchini, though not doing particularly well. But I might actually be able to harvest that one today. And we finally have a second Magda squash developing. I don't know if it got pollinated, but that's what we have here. Here we have the late season German butterball potatoes, and probably another week or two before we harvest these. And then on this side, there are still a few Uzbek golden carrots that we've left to harvest. The chard is in here and growing, but I've just kind of given up on this bed. Can't keep up on all the grass that's coming up. The peas are done. I've just left them for now. We've got an Aunt Molly's ground cherry that appeared for some reason in here. Not complaining. And here we can see the Uzbek golden carrots are blooming. Might actually get seeds. I'm not sure if they'll have enough time. Got some of them over here that are farther along. And then there's the onions. Oops. Onions going to seed. Doesn't want to focus. So I'm just waiting for these to dry up. Oops. Sorry about that. There we go. Waiting for these to dry out, and so we can collect them. Now in this bed, it turns out I kind of goofed. I thought I had the classic eggplant planted on this side, and the little finger eggplant planted on the other side. But these finally started to produce, And as you can see, the eggplant, well, maybe you can't see, let's go around, are longer and skinnier. So this is the little finger eggplant. And here we have the Cheyenne hot peppers, and we actually have had a couple turn red on the vine that we've been able to harvest. And down here, get in here, we've got the classic eggplant. And they're actually blooming like crazy and everything. I mean, we'll have some eggplant, but it's awfully late. Anyways, I've got some heavier duty plastic that I'm going to put around this bed. I'm going to wait a couple of nights because it's actually going to be too warm to do that. But before we start getting down to like 5 and 6 degrees overnight, I want to make sure that this is covered. Hello, you. Don't climb that. Don't climb that. What are you doing? Hi, beautiful. So here we have our compost tomatoes. Wasn't sure what they were for a while. It could have been any number of varieties. And we can now see that some of them look like the indigo blues. And if we go farther in here, these look like the Roma VF. There's also some potatoes in here that have died off, so we could dig up, well, that looks like a fresh one. We could dig up some potatoes as well, but, you know, it is the compost pile. And now we get into this absolutely remarkable area. I'm just amazed at what's been going on here. This is the Crespo squash that you're seeing here. This stuff wants to climb like you wouldn't believe. So we're still getting female flowers. Inside the bean trellis, we've got a Crespo squash there. We've got another one down here. These won't finish developing. It's just too late in the season for them. We've got our Seychelles green beans tucked away in here, which are still producing. Just basically getting a handful of beans every couple of days. And I go around. Oh, I'm tripping on. A vine just got me. Hang on. All right, untangled. So we've got another one over here. Here's a better look at this one over here. And you can see that one down there. Got one bean plant on this side. And then let's see if I can get, I won't be able to get through on this side because this vine is climbing the cherry tree. Multiple trees. So it's way up there. So let's go around. And yeah, I've got some happening over here. Alright, so if I can make my way through the vines that caught me earlier. Look at that. There's another lady flower. And try not to step on any vines. Alright, so I've been trying to sort of train the vines to go off to one side because I do need a path to get through here into the spruces. Alright, we got one big bugger over here. We had some in here, but they died off. Lots of flowers in there. And if we look over here, this is the first one. And it's not getting any bigger. It's just as it is now. It hasn't really changed. And then we got this going off into the bushes. And then this one, there had been a squash forming in, I don't know if you can see it in there. That little brown thing, that's a squash that died off over there. There was another one, yeah, you can see that died off. But it's just climbing up, and across over there. So this thing would be amazing on a trellis tunnel if we could build it strong enough to hold these. This is not a full size, not even close to full size. They're supposed to get much bigger than this. But I'm happy with this. I'm pretty amazed. Alright, I'm just on my way to switch out the memory card on the trail cam. And as you can see, we did get some mowing done. We've been loaned a riding mower. So this crabapple tree has more apples than I expected, to be honest. Oh, the little ones over here the birds like. This tree doesn't seem to have any apples at all on it this year. We really need to take this tree down. But my chainsaw's broken. This tree is producing a good amount of these absolutely delicious little red apples. And they are at perfect ripeness right now. So we need to harvest some of these. This tree, the apples are tasty, smaller but tasty. They won't be ready for like a couple of weeks. And this one produces the largest apples. And they are also tasty apples, but they taste absolutely terrible right up until they become ripe. And then they taste delicious. And I'm looking forward to that. Meanwhile, we've got, this area is still overgrown. It's too rough to mow in. I don't want to break any more lawnmowers. We've got our silver buffalo berry. They are doing quite well. I'm rather happy with how big they are. So this area with a lane to drive through should be an excellent privacy fence. It'll also keep the dust from the road and stuff like that, because eventually we need to clean up underneath here so we can access the fence, all the fence posts under here. Some have been added, but a lot of them need to be replaced completely. And then we've got our high bush cranberry over here, and a second high bush cranberry over here that has survived the deer. Why the deer went for just this one, I don't know. And then we have our 2 sea buckthorn. And we weren't able to get more this year. We'll see what we can manage next year, because it is highly unlikely we have both a male and female. Alright, here we have our purple raspberry bushes. There's only one that made it. The other 2 never came up, but I never did get around to contacting Vessies to let them know, and I don't know if I'm even going to bother. But that's what we have over here. Hello, Sindel. Here we have one mulberry bush, which is looking pretty good. And hello, Patience. Yeah, you're a sweetie. And then we have this other one here. And hopefully they will take off over the next few years and we'll have mulberries. All right, we are now in the main garden area, and have not had any progress on adding the permanent trellis on this bed. But I just wanted to take a look at this flower over here. I transplanted it while I was doing things this spring, because I didn't want to just weed it. And it's been blooming prolifically. And I've been taking the seeds from it and leaving them someplace else. So I don't want them to take over this bed. So I got the seeds over here. It turns out this might be salsify, which we actually bought seeds for but never got a chance to plant. Anyhow, so on this bed we have the Summer of Melons mix. And as you can see, we do still have quite a few melons. Looks like this one's splitting. Yeah. Well. Okay, I'll see about doing something about that one. Look at this bee. Look at that. He's taking a break. Hello, bee. It's a little chilly for bees right now. So we still have quite a lot of melons. But we have also finally started to harvest melons. So, there's one hiding in here. There we go. And along here. So the biggest, oldest one that was here, I just harvested that one yesterday. Down here. So I'm pretty happy with that. Looks like another one is ready to be harvested on the other side there. This is where I've been scattering the seeds. And okay, so that one is looking very close to harvest. We got so far just cantaloupe type that have been ready. And we're still getting the occasional bush beans, which is pretty awesome. Although it looks like this one got chomped by a deer again. But it's surviving. So we got more melons under there. And then the onions gone to seed. Hello, Rolando. Look at that lady. So we should have quite a lot of melons if the frost holds off. I'm really happy with that because we love melons. Okay, in the high raised bed, we've got our onions and peppers. Now these onions are supposed to be the red Weathersfield, which are supposed to grow kind of big, round, and flat. These look like the red of Florence or Trepanelinga, or however that's pronounced. Not that I mind. I mean, they'll taste good, I'm sure. So these are the dragonfly peppers. They turn purple right away, like very early on. And so we mistakenly harvested some early because we thought they were changed color because they were ripe, but they were not. So we have quite a few of those. Look at that. So they seem to be doing really well over here. And then we have all these other peppers in here that are still green. There's lots of peppers developing. Some really huge ones in here. I've had to add more supports to the plants because they were being pulled over by the weight of their peppers. But the orange and the yellow ones are not turning color yet. This over here is the Purple Beauty. Just have a couple of those. And maybe you can see better here if I can reach in. These are huge peppers, but they're not turning color yet. And over here we have our pumpkins, which are the vines are dying back. The pumpkins look quite ripe. I'm just going to leave them a little longer before harvesting them. And then we have our African drum gourds, which are blooming, producing both male and female flowers. The only drum gourd that started to develop has died. And while we have lots of female flowers starting to develop, and they're so soft and fluffy at this stage, but they won't have time to finish. A couple more pumpkins on this side, and then we have our winter squash. We had one over here that, well, unfortunately it's not doing well, so that's a loss. We've got our peas are amazingly still performing. I haven't pulled them because I can't get at them. Can't get much of anything in here. I'm just watching my step over here so I don't step on any vines. Look at the size of that bugger. It's probably ready to be harvested, but we're just letting things die back. We got this one is getting nice and big. Happy to see that. We're still getting female flowers and stuff like that, so things are still developing and producing. We got this over here. Where are we? These ones get nice and big. And I've tried to do as much weeding as possible, so I was able to flip this one onto its bottom. And we got our Carmenat purple beans, which are also still producing. Alright, this is beautiful. And there were a few of the beans that I missed, so I'm just leaving them. And we might have beans to save for seed. Oh, would you look at that? It's another new female flower. And that one over here. Alright, now we're into our second bed of winter squash. This one has the Yukon Chief corn in it. We've harvested everything we can out of the corn. Some got missed, but that's okay. I'm leaving them, and we'll collect seeds from them when they're completely dried off. Oh my God. Are you hunting a frog, Bet you are. All right, squash over here. When we plant corn again, we'll have to make sure to include some kind of a support for when the wind gusts come up. And what do I got? This one's looking good. And these ones are climbers as well. And they are really trying to climb. They've been going up the corn, but none of the sports can hold the weight. So that one over there was actually up like this high before. It's slowly hanging down. But it managed to grow around some of the twine, so that's kind of holding it a little bit. What else have we got in here? I don't think we've got anything left. We had some melon squash start to grow on this side, but they died off. And what we have left is this one over here on this side. And then beside that first one we saw, we got this weird shaped bugger. He looks cute. Cute. I like him. Not as cute as this guy. We are now in the second melon bed. And the ones at this side are the Summer of Melons blend. We actually harvested out of this bed first. Looks like that one's going to be ready soon. And so there's still quite a lot of melons in here, and probably more hiding that I haven't been able to see. Some newer ones in there. Creeping Charlie is getting in this. This is going to be a major problem. But we have a bit of a mystery over here, because this is supposed to be a cream of Saskatchewan watermelon. This is a squash. Like, this is a winter squash. I don't know how they got mixed up, but if this is a winter squash, that means the watermelon should have been in one of these two beds. And there's been no sign of it. But yeah, so we have a winter squash in with the melons that should have been a watermelon. Here we have our San Marzano tomatoes that were planted later. They're big and healthy and bushy and developing all kinds of tomatoes. But very few are turning red, just a few at a time. Unfortunately, like, we had to add more supports, and in this case what we did is, because I didn't prune away the suckers, they were just kind of splayed out, and they crushed the onions. So I've supported them by wrapping twine around the stems, and then attaching the stems to the stakes, which works for some of them. The rest of them we just did the figure eight thing to hold the branches up, which seems to be working fine. These have also been topped so that hopefully they'll start ripening. But we have been harvesting a tomato or two every now and then. And you can see there's one down here that's starting to look red. But, nope. Here's another one. But not enough at one time to be able to, make a sauce or anything like that out of them. And being paste tomatoes, the family doesn't like eating them fresh very well. Oh, this one. This branch needs to be supported. I'll do that later. Okay, on this bed, we've got, this is the G-Star Patty Pan Squash. The plants themselves have been doing amazing. We've even harvested some summer squash from them. And let's see, there's a female flower over here, which I don't see any male flowers. Oh, there's some male flowers over there, so they might get pollinated. These ones, the vines themselves have blocked the flowers, so those will probably die off. But awesome, awesome, awesome. We finally have some of the white scallop squash developing. And I even hand pollinated them to try and make sure we actually get some, but just on the one plant so far. And the shallots are, well, not looking very good, because I believe the cats have been rolling on the bed. And the same thing with the yellow onions on this side over here, the frontier onions. They've just been flattened. We didn't do this. This has been probably cats. I'm not impressed. But we do have like a couple of them surviving that are getting nice and big. see how long they last. This is what's left of the Zucca melon. Rest in peace. Here we have the Albion Everbearing strawberries, which have recovered really well from being deer eaten, developing suckers, which I hope to use to expand the bed. And we've even been harvesting more strawberries out of this bed. And as you can see, there's flowers, and we can expect to get more berries. This is awesome. I love this. This is our Liberty apple tree, which is doing all right. Be a couple of years before we get anything from there. And we need to open this area up and get in here and clean all this stuff out. But here is where we should have had crocuses, saffron crocuses, blooming by the end of last month. But yeah, they just got choked out, completely choked out. So we'll have to try that again another year. And then we'll clean all this up so the tulips can have some place to bloom. Got to get that purple bellflower. Oh, that stuff. What a weed. Okay, we are now in the old kitchen garden. Here we have the other San Marzano tomatoes. Get a few of them getting ripe. And the mint in between. And gonna have to add some more support to these stakes. They're falling over. The garlic was all harvested, so that's all gone. And the chives are blooming again. I got the walking onions over here, the rhubarb, this garlic bed completely harvested. The garlic over here had a single tomato, which I've left, and it's blooming, and we'll see how that goes. The loofah, they're climbing, and look at that, right up there. But I haven't even seen any kind of flower buds or clusters or anything like that. So they're not going to make it. These strawberries, I actually harvested a decent sized handful yesterday. So we're still getting stuff out of here. Yes, this one's ready. There's another one that's ready in here. So yeah, and these when they're fully ripe like this, they taste okay. Which I'm gonna eat it now. Hello, Midnight. Leaving the chamomile to go to seed. Lots of thyme. More strawberries. And then we have this monstrosity. These are the chocolate cherries. But this has been as dark as they get when they're ripe. So we've been harvesting a fair bit out of here at basically this stage. And the family tells me that they are absolutely delicious. Hello, kitten. Hi. Oh, this is Eye Baby. Got a messed up eye. We've been giving antibiotics. Okay. So this is all weighed down, hanging down from up here. I do have rope support and stuff like that, but yeah, these are massive. So we'll know that for future reference. And I've actually been mostly harvesting from this side because I can reach from this side. But yeah, I've been trying to prune away branches and topping off the vines to try and get it to ripen some more. And you can see some of the lines to the lilacs that are supporting it. So these have done really well. I'm quite happy with how well they've done here. This bed, I think, is probably our biggest success story of everything. These are the Forme Decor tomatoes. I've got some more I could probably harvest today. I had to tie off the supports to each other because the tomatoes, in this corner in particular, the weight of them was just falling over into the path. And you can see it's even broken the support. So they are doing quite well. Lots of, like, oh, look at this. This branch is going to need support. I'm gonna come back with some twine. The garlic in here was harvested. There's some onions in here, but the cats like to go inside here and basically take naps. Got some nice tomatoes. Let's just go around this rose bush. This very, very spiny rose bush. And I'm going to be giving everything a deep watering this morning. We're supposed to get thunderstorms this afternoon or late morning or whatever, but I don't think we're going to get anything. So yeah, aside from watering, this bed is doing absolutely amazing. And now we have the grapes, which are still collapsing on themselves because the weight is just too much for our trellis. We haven't been getting grapes. Something's been getting the grapes, not us. Are there any left? Oh my goodness. I don't see any grapes left. Look at that, even in here. There's one grape. Wow. Okay, so we no longer have grapes. There's a few over here. Oh my goodness. Oh well. So much for that. Hello, broccoli. Oh, there's no water in there right now. I almost forgot about the haskaps again. So here's one. That is the Mr. Haskap. Now over here is the Mrs. Haskap. These are the two originals. And hiding in there is the Mrs. Haskap that was planted a year later. And all the flowers, which I don't know if it's the flowers or the trees that are causing problems with these, but one of these days I'd like to actually have a real Haskap harvest. I still think we need to transplant these. Well, that is our September 10 tour of the garden. And all our babies that wanted to keep us company. Oh, hi baby, what are you doing? Get down from there. Look at that. They're just always inside these beds. But anyway, so that's how things are going. And if the frost holds off, things will keep getting better. And that's the only thing that we have to consider, because there's not a lot that if frost is coming that we'll be able to cover. Like, we certainly can't cover these tomatoes the way they are. But yeah, and who knows, maybe I'll be able to do a garden tour next month and actually have something to show you. We shall see.